Hello everyone, welcome back. This is another update video of TerraFirmaCraft Plus. So it's been a little while since I've made one of these videos. It's been a little while. So took a bit of a break from coding. Animal Crossing came out. I've been playing a lot of that lately. I've been working from home for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't know, just I still have gotten some stuff done. In fact, every few days I'll still come back. I'm just not working on it like every night like I was sometimes doing. Let's talk about some new features. So I actually meant to get this update a while ago because it fixes a couple things that are kind of broken about the game. For example, you currently, in the released version, can't make beer. The way that you get yeast on your, from the decay, that kind of sucks, that whole mechanic. So, planning some changes to that. So I'm going to put some corn malt into this food preparation table, which you guys will remember is just right-clicking on a surface with a knife. And then we are going to go one day into the future, and it'll now say yeasty corn malt. So that is how that works now. Don't have to worry about decay. Just don't even bother. I mean, it has decay on it. That doesn't really matter. You just put it on the table. You leave it out in the air for one day, and when you come back, it'll have yeast growing on it. Doesn't affect the flavor of it. I might have that affect that at some point in the future. Maybe when I do more cooking stuff. Doesn't affect the decay rate. It doesn't even, doesn't really do anything. Actually, that might be too much grain. Let's go into... Oh man, yeah, okay. Alright, I don't want to be starving. Let's just reset my stats. So I think this is too much grain, so let's cut the decay off and cut it in half. This should work. Oh, okay. See, you know what? That's a double mistake on my part. Because this is these are poles. Yeah, this is making beer, and as you guys know, you can't make beer without roasting the grain first. So we need some logs. We need like a flint and steel. These are poles, so we need some sticks. So let's just take care of this quickly. And of course, cutting the thing got rid of the yeast. That's just how that works. So let's just make sure we cook that. If you cook it, it will also get rid of the yeast immediately. Just putting this in the fire, even for a second, will kill any yeast that's on it. If you don't want yeast on your stuff, you can just quickly kill it. Yeast will not grow on things like meats. It will grow on fruits, and it will grow in grains. I might in the future make it so that you have to get yeast on your bread in order to get the bread to rise. I don't know, and maybe you get like flatbreads. But okay, let's just skip ahead another day. Yeah, now it's yeasty. All right. Is it now too small? Because this is gonna piss me off. Because I could have sworn that is it really a full stack that you need? All right, this is getting annoying. I could cut it, and I probably should, or maybe you can just restart the video. But we're not going to do that because the only thing that make me restart this is if this actually just doesn't work at all. Last I checked, it worked. So I'm going under the assumption that it still does. So, maybe we should even just, maybe instead of skipping the day ahead, we'll just talk about some other changes in this update. We'll just leave this to get some yeast on its own. Alright, now you're cooked. Give me the log back. Put it in here. You know what? Nah, we'll just... Because I want to make sure that this is working. It's got the yeast. This is fresh water. Okay. So it is a full stack. Has to have the yeast. We're all good. Corn beer. All right. See, that was gonna piss me off. So another thing, I might even just do this in kind of the order that I added them. We have in our inventory this soaked wool shirt, and we can put it up on the line, and that will dry it out. That was a feature that a lot of people requested for a long time. This doesn't require string like you would if you were hanging meat. This is just, you know, it looks like it's tied on, but that's just because this is easier to render like that. So yeah, if you just have some wet clothes, you can put them on a line and that'll dry them out unless it starts raining. In that case, they'll get wet again. So that's just like a quality of life feature that a lot of people asked for. So you can have clotheslines now. Let's talk about... oh man, I'd prefer it was morning. Let's talk about, well, you may notice already that the water is very, very clear. And that is a change that is coming in this update. Water is getting a lot more clear. And there's a good reason for that. And we're going to get into that right now. Let's actually start with fishing. So fishing has changed a little bit. Let's go into this. Let's go into debug mode. Let's set my stats. Let's get out of debug mode. Okay, cool. So fishing. Fishing rod recipe is still the same, which is we put a pole, get some string, get a bone. Kind of weird though. It doesn't have full durability, which is a little fishy, isn't it? So you'll see it just says 128 out of 255. We can cast it. It casts a lot faster now. You may also notice that the durability has now gone down, and you may have heard that I right-clicked just there, and that is because we actually don't have a ton of line on this rod right now. 2 string doesn't give it a ton of line, only gives it about half as much as it possibly could have. So if we hold right-click, we're going to start reeling in. And the reason that I right-clicked there, I don't want to cast it, is that locks the line. It stops any more line from going out. So if you're actually, if you're casting and you think you're actually going to run out of line before the bobber hits the water, might be a good idea to just lock the line mid-cast. We can take a look at what happens if we don't do that. Let's just charge this up as much as we can, see if we can... Yep. Alright, so we just heard that sound, and yeah, 0 durability, doesn't have any string, can't do anything with it. I'm going to update it so that it'll display like a name on that. It currently just says fishing rod. But let's talk about what we can do with this. So if we put it up here, we can add more line to it, and the more line we add, the more durability it gets. You'll notice though that image there does not look entirely right. It doesn't look like a fishing rod ready to cast, and that's because it doesn't have a hook on it either. The hook snapped off, or broke off with the line. So, you know, we can just add some more and then get it up to full. So let's cast it out and let's reel it in. You can see, you know, we got the tension meter going there, and the rod seems to be twitching a little bit as it's going. The way that the rod works in general, like how tension works, that's all been changed to go along with these features. Another thing that I should, I guess, mention is that, let's say I cast it and reel it in a little bit, and then I change to a different item. You heard it just snapped. We still have some line, but we've lost the hook. So we have to put the hook back on. So be careful, guys. If you have cast out your line, do not switch to another item without reeling it in, because you're just going to be cutting your line, and you'll lose the hook. You'll lose whatever line you've put on it. So yeah, when the line snaps, it'll actually it's not going to be the same as if I scrolled. Like when I scrolled there, however much line I had out, I guess I had 33 line out. I just lost that line. If I had a fish on and there had been 33 line out, 33 units of line out, and the fish had snapped the line because the tension got too high, I would actually get back half of the line. It's assumed that it's just snapping right in the middle of the line, halfway between you and the fish. So you'd get half of that back, but you'd lose the hook. So that is that change. The other thing I want to talk about is, and you may have seen this on a preview video that I put out a few days ago, that there are some new fish in this update. So let's just go underwater. I've gotten rid of the default overlay that they have on the water. Let's actually make it daytime, and we'll make it a little brighter out here. All right, so let's start with just the bass. So if we spawn the bass, and there he goes. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Wow, it's going fast. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. There he goes. So yeah, fish have new mechanics for what determines their pathfinding. They like to avoid obstacles a lot better now. They have a nice new swimming animation, and they do speed up when players get near. That's just to hopefully help them avoid players. This is actually kind of funny. I wasn't actually expecting this, but this is another type of new fish. This is the wahoo. So these have just spawned naturally. We're in the ocean here. Tropical oceans. Wahoo only occur in tropical oceans. What are you doing? Stop that. Alright, okay, so, oh my goodness, what's it doing? So, okay. The new fish AI isn't perfect. This guy is freaking out. What is his problem? There's got to be something corrupted with his pathfinding. I'm going to bet that that's the problem. He's probably... I think the issue here is that, and I think I saw something like this during testing, I think he is not properly... See, what they do is they'll do a ray trace out in front of them to look for collisions, and you see the other guys were perfectly fine. I think this guy's problem is that he might be ray tracing down, and so every direction that he tries to go, he is ray tracing and thinking that he's hitting an obstacle. Stop that. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Calm, dude. Stop that. What are you doing? Can I just... Yeah. Just kill you. Yeah, so that's that problem. That is actually... I found that pretty rare. Most of them seem to not get that issue. They just behave nicely. Oh, here's a big school of them going past. They don't actually have mechanics that make them form schools. In reality, it's just that they spawn in groups, and their AI doesn't really that often randomize the direction. They kind of just go forward until they hit something. So they tend to respond to obstacles the same way, which is what makes them kind of stick together. But I think that it looks pretty nice. So yeah, see, these are wahoo, and there you go. They're speeding up. I think they got a nice little animation they have going on there. So yeah, this is tropical waters. You'll find wahoo all over the world. In fact, we could see if we can try and catch from these guys. So let's do that. This might be a longer video. Oh wait, I'm not. They might not be here anymore. They don't actually have like that long of a. You'll notice like we actually have to go quite a distance. Oh, there's one. Let's see if we can. Come on, guys. Come on, what are you guys doing? Can they not? Get it. Get it. Get it. Alright, I'm just gonna pull it in. Let's try it again. Alright, looks like I got one. Alright, so make sure we don't want to snap the line. If the tension is high, and I'm not reeling in. Oh, is this guy already given up? You can't run out of energy that quickly, can you? Come on. Oh, there we go. Alright, so that guy gave us 137 ounces of already decaying fish. Oh no, that was probably from the first one we caught. This one gave us 141.89. Yeah, that was from the one we killed down there at the bottom. So I'm not entirely sure how balanced the mechanics for like fighting the fish are. You got to be a little careful that you don't let the tension get too high, otherwise the line will snap. But you know, I think it'll kind of just take some testing. I want all you guys to play this to give me some feedback on that. Let me see, what's the biotemperature is 22, so that is well within the range for Wahoo. You may have noticed though that I have said, I think at least twice, that Wahoo only spawn in tropical waters, and that is because we have a different kind of fish for other waters, and that is a pollock. So the pollock will spawn in cooler waters. There's a little bit of overlap between pollock and Wahoo, but generally in cooler waters, oceans globally. So let's spawn some of these in. So, you know, they behave pretty much the same. They're a little fast though, hard to get a good view of what they look like. But yeah, so there should be fish in the oceans now. There'll be fish in the lakes. There'll be fish in the rivers too, because there is actually a fourth kind of fish, and that is the trout. So where did he go? Oh, there he goes. So this is what a trout look like. Trout spawn in river biomes. And they spawn. There's no region locking. I do plan to add some regional fish in the future, like tilapia or something for Africa, stuff like that. But for now, all the fish, so bass will spawn in lake biomes all over the world, every region. Trout will spawn in every river biome. Wahoo will spawn in warm ocean waters, and pollock will spawn in cooler ocean waters. And pollock should be able to generate all the way up to the Arctic. So yeah, that's fish. We do have some more things to talk about though. We talked about fishing rod repair, we talked about fishing rod itself. Whenever I've been in the water so far, I have been flying. And that has maybe hidden the fact that if I'm not flying, I float. So this doesn't actually look like vanilla swimming because you can't really replicate what they did with like the, you know, how the player rotates and stuff. That's just not that easy to do. I'm sure it would be possible, but it's a lot more effort and probably just a source for new bugs in the future that I don't really want to get into. So instead, we just have, you know, perfectly vertical bodies, but you do float in water. Also, when you're swimming, you will go in the direction that you're looking. So if I look down, I go down. And that is actually, so if we look down and we hold forward, that's where we go. If I'm looking more, you know, so if I just let go, I just start floating upwards. I can also hold space to swim upwards faster. So that should actually, I think, in fact, if we hold space and forward, we swim very fast. So I think that just makes a little, let's get up to the surface. If I float up to the surface, I actually stop before my head really gets above the water. I can't really breathe here, so I do have to press space a few times or you know, look upwards and hold W, hold the forward key, in order to actually get above the water. But I think this is just like quality of life, a much better thing to have. You can AFK here. If you're in the water, you don't have to be continuously holding space. And as long as you're not looking, like I think you have to look 20 degrees below the horizontal before, like you see, I'm actually looking down here, but I'm not going down. If I tilt it down a little bit, yep, see there, now I'm going under. But as long as you can look, you know, up and down a little bit without having to worry about going under the water. So yeah, just get onto land here. And get up, get up, get up. Come on, dude, what are you doing? Oh, because, yeah, we're swimming. We were swimming in like the top block of the water, which is something that can happen a little sometimes. It's not that big of a deal, though. So, we have the new swimming. You may have noticed that this whole time I've had armor in my inventory. And as you may guess, if I wear armor, yeah, you sink like a rock. In fact, it's actually very hard to even, you can't really jump. Oh, see, I just started swimming, and that is why we went up. But yeah, you can't really jump that well. You can just barely, I think, swim up. How much, are we making much progress with that? Let me see. Yeah, you can see how slowly we're going up. Struggling to get up. Oop, yeah, hang on. So, not so great. If you're wearing armor and you're underwater, not super easy. If we take off a bit of our armor, we can get a little more vertical speed. But there is one thing we can do. I'm actually going to get out of the water here. Through flying, we're going to put this down, this barrel. Going to seal the barrel, and then break it. So, I forget which one of these is sealed. One of them is sealed, one of them isn't. I think it's probably that one that's... Or is it this one? That doesn't really matter. But now I have a sealed barrel on my back, a sealed empty barrel. So let's just go back down to the bottom here. And, so, okay. Now that we have this barrel, we have all our armor on. But due to the buoyancy of the barrel, it kind of offsets the weight of the armor, because we have this big empty barrel on our back. In fact, if we take off our armor, we start floating up. In fact, if we don't have any armor at all, let's start flying for a sec. Let's go back down to the bottom. Okay, yep, there we go. So if we... Yep, you float up quite quickly. So if you do get yourself trapped at the bottom of the ocean, as long as you... I just dropped that. You know, of course you will float up on your own, but if you put a... Well, let's put some shoes on. So if you find yourself, like, let's say, stuck at the bottom of the ocean, you have your metal boots on to hold you down. I think it was this one. If you put a barrel on your back, you will very quickly go up to the surface, which is handy. So if you think you might be falling in the ocean with armor on, maybe keep a barrel on you to help you out with that. Okay, so we've covered the 4 fish. We've looked at some things that might even be wrong with this new update. We've seen the new mechanics for alcohol. And just as a reminder, yeah, it's all foods work with the new yeast mechanics. So we've seen clothing drying, we've seen the new fishing rods, we've seen swimming. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the updates and changes this time around. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like the new fish. It's not that hard to actually add new fish. It just takes... I just have to make the texture, and then I have to tweak tweak the rendering just to give them the different body shapes. Yeah, I hope you guys like it, and this should be available... I guess this should be available now. I'm probably going to release the mod. I'm going to put the mod up, and then I'll upload the video, which is now like 24 minutes long. My goodness, it's like a full episode. So you should be able to download that right away. If you find any bugs, please report them on the Discord. There'll be a link in the description. And thanks for watching, guys.